Hello, my name is Cheryl Erickson and I am the Indigenous focused ECE instructor with Louis Riel Vocational College. Today in Child and Family Diversity, we're going to look at Chapter 12, Stress and Success in Family Life. But before we get started, just a reminder to read Chapter 12, as this video is not a replacement for your chapter readings. So when we look at families and the definition of family, there's many variations to the word family. Family can involve more children, few children. It can involve a group of people living under the same roof that aren't related. It could be parents that are married or not married. It could be same-sex parents. So that the term family can mean many different things to many different people. Families can also vary in age, including multiple generations. So you can have parents living together with raising their children with their parents, so grandparents or great-grandparents living under one roof. In some situation, grandparents are raising the children. It could be aunts and uncles as well living in the family, so people in the same household that are related, and it could be people that are not related, such as not like blood for adoption or fostering. It's still a family under the same roof. So some really interesting variations in there. The types of families that we see now are for example, nuclear families, so mom and dad and their children living under the same roof. You have extended family, again, so mom and dad and children and maybe grandparents or aunts or uncles that may live under the same roof. You can have a single parent family, so one parent and the child or children. There's stepped or blended families, so families that were previously married or not and have blended together to live under a roof. So that could be mom and two people having a relationship and children of their own coming together and forming one big family unit. So a lot of different types of families can take place in terms of maybe adopted families, gay and lesbian families as well. So you can see there's a big dynamics in terms of what the word family could mean in 2019. So what is a functional family? And again, that is going to vary from culture to culture. It's easy to see a family as dysfunctional when its patterns or structures are different from your image. And does that necessarily mean that family is dysfunctional? So just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. Time to give legitimacy to cultural differences and alternative lifestyles. So absolutely, that dynamics of families is changing. As caregivers or ECEs, we have to respect that is a child's family, and you need to be accepting of that and work within to I guess learn more about that family and appreciate that family is there for that particular child. So that family is going to be important to the child. That's what they know of as family. And you think back to some of the discussions we've had about children and coming into care. They know basically their first experiences in life comes from their family and within that family unit. So it is really important to them that we work together with that family. And again, we almost become an extension to that family as we work together. So what is a successful family? They're going to support and nurture its members. So parents are going to support and nurture their children, meet those needs of the child, just as we meet the needs of the children we care for. They feel a wide range of emotions as well when it comes to their children and their families. And we really need to appreciate that, because there is a lot of emotions that are expressed or a lot of emotions that come into play when you are raising children. And everybody's going to experience them a little bit different. There's things that you're not sure of on how to handle or how to manage. And so we need to support those families in achieving success, because that's going to be meaningful for that particular child. All families have their ups and downs as well. And again, that's where we need to support them. So just going back to this dysfunctional family, and what does that, what does dysfunction mean? What are some of the things that dysfunction could entail? And basically that family isn't working in a cohesive unit, perhaps. There could be things in there that aren't going to be positive experiences for a child, and could have negative outcomes for that particular child. So dysfunctional can be abusive, and with that, it's not a safe environment for a child. A study has shown that 98% of us have been raised in dysfunctional families. So some dysfunctional families, I think maybe if you're in a dysfunctional family, you might not even know that your family is dysfunctional, because it's your family. It's unique to you as well. And so sometimes dysfunctional families are not in tune with what's happening in present society. Families sometimes can be taught, members are taught to ignore their own needs. And we know that that isn't a positive thing in terms of raising children. We know that children, in order to feel safe and secure, their needs have to be met. That's the only way they're going to be successful in life. Traits of successful families, so healthy family involvement. And again, that could work as to meeting needs, interactive, working together as a family, family connectiveness, doing things together as a family, feeling attached, they care for each other, and they don't just fill a social role. So it's not having a child for the sake of saying I have a child, but I'm having a child because I want to do things with the child. I want us to go camping. I want us to have fun. I feel in that situation, you're getting just as much out of the relationship as the child is. So you're doing things together, you're connecting, you enjoy each other's company, you get excited about things that the child is accomplishing, you get excited about participating in activities with the child. There's a deep sense of commitment to that child. You're responsible, not only for food, shelter, and clothing, but education, childcare, well-being. All those things are really important to you. You're attentive to your family. You don't get over-involved in activities that exclude the family. So, your weekend would be composed of family time as well as maybe time with friends as well. Or you could have situations where friends have kids, and so your family spend time together because that's what's important to you, is spending time and connecting with your family as well. Stress can be a positive force, so recognize that stress can be a motivator to get things done. We all need a little bit of stress in our lives, not unhealthy, Stress, but stress almost gets your adrenaline going, and it can be a growth factor. You might learn something. If you learn to channel your emotions, stress can make people sick, but if you learn how to cope and self-regulate, you won't have those adverse effects to that. So it could mean it teaches you how to prioritize. It could mean it teaches you how to multitask. And those are challenges that maybe you've worked towards in a positive way. I guess it depends on what the stress is and how you go about handling, but know that stress doesn't have to be a negative thing. How do we teach resilience in our children? And this is really important. And those, first years of life are really, really important in making a child feel safe, secure, and loved. And in the situations where, there is an issue with attachment, recognizing that maybe there's a surrogate parent that comes into play that's going to make a real difference, whether it's an aunt or an uncle, somebody that kind of steps in and takes that role on as the primary caregiver and nurtures and meets the needs, bonds with that particular child, is going to make a huge difference. And that child, if they have that surrogate relationship, and sometimes it's even a teacher or an ECE, a babysitter, it could be a neighbor, that is going to build resilience in a child. They're going to develop that sense of trust, that sense that they're being cared for, looked after, that there's somebody there for them. And so that's really important for them. Resilience is really important for success in life. And so fond attachment, usually in the first years of life, to not necessarily the parent, could be a huge factor in the growth and development of a child in a really positive way. And so we want that for all children. If for some reason they aren't getting that with their biological parent, that there is somebody that could step in and be that surrogate parent and develop that relationship and rapport and meet that child's needs so that they're going to be successful in life. So we need somebody to provide that support for that child. And family, that family is in need of support as well. And you want that family to get support so that they can develop the mechanisms needed to care for their family, to care for their child. Teach those skills for making connections with their child. Teach them how to problem solve, because that's going to set that child up for success. We need somebody to give children responsibilities, because responsibilities teaches children independence. It gives them that feeling of self-esteem and self-worth when they are successful in those endeavors. And all children need to have positive role models. They learn roles. They learn how to act and how to react. And are mentored by a positive role model within their lives. So that does conclude Chapter 12 of Child and Family Diversity. Please do see your instructor if you have any questions, or if just check in to make sure you haven't missed any handouts or assignments pertaining to Chapter 12.